Hello and welcome. I'm Kippi from KippiAtHome.com. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to be crafting up some super cute Halloween lanterns. We're going to be using some ordinary items and going to use some solar lights and make something really cute that trick-or-treaters are going to love. Let's get crafting. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our embroidery hoops and hang them up. And I've strung them between two shepherd's hooks and just use some twine that I had, and I've got them dangling in the sun, and I'm going to use some of my favorite spray paint and spray paint them and then let them hang to dry. The paint on my embroidery hoops is dried, so it's time to get crafting on this project. So I've gathered everything up to make sure I had everything I needed, and I'm going to start with those embroidery hoops. We've got to connect them together, and let's see how we're going to do that. Begin with the outer hoop, and I'm going to remove the little screw from the outer hoop and save it for later. You just never know. And then I'm going to use the two inner hoops, and I'm going to try to just get them where they're in the center. And once they're in the center, and I'm using my cutting mat to kind of use it as a guide to see if I have them in the center. Then I can work the third one in, which is the outer one. After I got my embroidery hoops, the inner hoops, centered, I put a little bit of hot glue on there. And while it was still pliable, I added my third, which is the outer hoop, to these two hoops. And then I had just a moment where I could adjust it and the glue would hold it in place. Since the little screw was removed, and I can't put it back in there because I won't be able to get my little stem on the top, I'm going to have to use a piece of wire. Now I'm just going to pull the wire through those little holes that the screw went through, and I'm going to just tie it off a little bit. I am going to recommend, and I'm going to do this in the future, is I'm going to try to use a bull clip, a big one, and kind of hold it so I can move things around. So if you haven't made it yet, if you have a bull clip, you can grab it. If you don't, then the wire definitely works. All right, so now I'm satisfied with the placement of all the hoops. So I am just putting some glue in there to keep it stable in the little area between the two little metal parts where the screw holes are. I filled that with glue so it would have good stability. I found that it was easier to work on my pumpkin from this point on with it placed inside a bowl with a towel. And I only placed a towel in there so I wouldn't mar the paint. And then I'm taking a piece of wire and I'm just going to make a little bit of a loop around and just make a little more security to hold the pumpkin together. I am going to be using it outside, so I want to make sure it's going to stay together. And once you get this all twisted around, you can just nip that right off. And then we'll get working on adding our light. I'm going to use this pretty solar light, and I love the globe, but the globe is made of glass and it makes it really heavy, and I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to use just the bottom part of it, but it's silver and I feel like it really needs to be orange. And I didn't want to spray paint it, then it's always orange, and I might be using it all year. So I decided, I found some vinyl in my daughter's stash and some Cricut vinyl, and I thought, well, I could cut that and I could just tape it on there, and then I could remove it and use my light even at Christmas time, whenever. So I'm gonna just have it in there so you can remove it and reuse it. So I just measured the width of the little light, the part that's silver. After I have the width of that little metal part, the silver part that I want to cover with this vinyl, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and a ruler and make a nice clean cut, and that will be cover the width of it. And then I marked with a Sharpie on the top, very small little marks where those little handles go in, so I could find those handles again once I taped this piece of vinyl around it. And now to go all the way around it, I'll just kind of wrap it around there and then cut it off with my scissors. I'm going to use a piece of just regular tape to tape it on there because I am going to want to use this again for other projects. To place the light in there, I had to make a few decisions. How long do I want it to be? And I love the little clip on there, but it makes it really long, and I really wanted not to hang all the way to the bottom. So I decided to take the clip off and use just the little metal part. I got a piece of wire to make that little loop to hang my light on. And then I decided, and I kind of adjusted it after I put the light on there to see how long I wanted it to be. So you can, keep adjusting it till you're happy with where it hangs. And don't worry about any of these wires at the top. All of the mechanics will be hidden beneath our stem. Now, I cut this off a tree in my yard and had my husband tunnel out that little spot there. And then I thought I would just lay it over that and it will hide everything. But I think the stem is a little long. So let me get back with my husband and get that cut down to where shorter length. All right, my husband has brought my little stem back in, and we appreciate helpers on making these projects. So I decided I would add a little stripe piece of ribbon because I'm going to add a little bow, and I thought, man, wouldn't that be cute? So I'm using black, white, and orange for my decor. So I thought I would just add a little fun to it. And so I'm going to cut my ribbon, and then I'm going to glue that over the top, and then I'll add a bow, but that will be after I put the stem on. I'm going to tell you that I'm testing this to make sure it's going to fit now that I've added the ribbon, to make sure that hole is big enough that I don't have to ask my husband for a little more help. So he'll be so excited to hear that it worked. So that's going to work perfectly. That is so cute. So I'm going to fill it up with some hot glue, and holding it, I'm going to hold it for a few minutes because I don't want that hot glue to drip out of there, but I do want a ton of it in there. So I'm going to wait till it starts to just start setting up so it's not going to run out over my project. And I even held it upside down or upside right or the other way to make sure it didn't run out before I put it on. Well, I placed it on there and I kind of moved it around a little bit to make sure everything was covered with glue and we had a secure fit. Looks great. Look at these cute leaves. They have a little bit of glitter on them. Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. So I'm going to use some of these black leaves. They scream Happy Halloween. So I'm going to just glue some of them on there, and then we'll get to our bow. I'm going to use that same black and white striped ribbon, and I will have that down in the description for that supply. And I'm going to just tie it right around that stem, and I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to make my little hand wrapped ribbon and then attach it to this ribbon. Wrap the little ribbon around your hand 3 times, and that would make 3 loops on each side. And I'm just holding it there. Now you could use a pipe cleaner or a piece of wire or anything to help you hold that, but I'm just holding it in my hand. It's a little bit tricky, as you can see, but it gets the job done. And then I tied it tight, and then I tie it again for some security, and then I just fluff my little loops, and we're ready to go. To hang this cute little lantern, I used a little piece of wire, and I just hid it underneath the leaves, and I hung it to a shepherd's hook, and I have it held on the shepherd's hook between 2 skeletons that I made in previous Halloweens, and I can put the link to how to make those below as well. You're gonna love those. If you have, I just used scrap wood. It was nothing fancy, and they turn out super cute. The kids love them. Oh, that little lantern turned out so cute. I hope y'all enjoy this craft, and I hope you'll subscribe and ring the bell, and don't miss a thing. We'll see you soon.